What's up? It's Fire with Dad. It's opening day. Dad, what's going on?
Fire with Dad, baby. Opening day. Cubbies are playing.
And your internet's bad again. Like you literally said that, and then like 10 seconds later, your mouth moved.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a big delay, and it's weird. It wasn't a delay just now before I went live. Now there is. So I don't know if it seems to always be your internet. So what internet are you on down there in Hillbilly Land?
White Cloud.
White Cloud?
No, they're out of Louisville.
That sounds made up.
Huh? That's how we get our cable. We have our cable with them as well as our internet. Normally it's pretty good.
So in honor of opening day, I have my red drink.
I have my blue hat and my Cubby shirt on.
Hey, you froze on me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a huge delay. It's probably 5 or 10 seconds. So opening day, what's one of your favorite memories?
You and I would go in and scalp tickets at opening day of the Reds games. Remember, we used to go there. We used to go there and scalp the tickets.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember that. And then the streak ended when I went to Moorhead for my sophomore year in college. We didn't go that year, and the umpire ended up dying at home plate.
It was your fault.
That's a lot of weight to put on my shoulders, but if I have to take blame, I guess I can.
Because we didn't go to the game. He probably wouldn't have died if we had gone to the game.
One of my more memorable opening days was the one you shared yesterday, the Cubs and the Pirates. We went there in Pittsburgh, and it was chilly, and so I had jeans on and a long sleeve T-shirt, and it turns out our seats were in the sun, and it warmed up, and we were melting in the sun. I had my jeans pulled up around my knees. I went and bought the guy's name's Jarrett Cole. I went and bought a Jarrett Cole Pirate shirt for like $10 on the discount rack to try and have a T-shirt on. You remember that game?
Yep, and I also remember we went to their preview party, and I wore all my Cubs stuff, and everybody thought I was an old Pirate ball player.
Yep, not an old Pirate ball player, old Cubs.
I mean, old Cubs ball player. Everybody, and even the owner walked up to me. I spent about 20 minutes talking to the owner.
Yeah, I remember that. We were at the that steakhouse right next door to the stadium. I forgot about that. Yeah, we got a VIP party, and the owner was there, and there were also a couple players there, I think.
Well, a bunch of players.
Yeah,
especially there were a lot of old time, like Willie Stargell was there, and a lot of the old time players were there.
So it helps that I had connections to beat you in there. I think you should reimburse me for that experience.
That's close. So
who the Cubbies play today?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Oh, in Pittsburgh?
No, they're at Wrigley Field.
Is it? Did you see the snow here in Cincinnati?
A little bit of it, yeah. I saw a guy announcing on the game, the preview for the game for the Cincinnati Reds game, and he had snow on his coat. He had a black coat on. He had snow on his coat.
Could have been dandruff.
That could be. Oh, they said it was snow.
Okay. Maybe it was a Head and Shoulders commercial.
Oh.
No, I think opening day is awesome. I'm kind of bummed that it seems like it's cold at least 2 out of 3 years. It's too cold to go participate. Like I'm not going out in this crap today to go hang out places, but also with all the COVID crap and all the restrictions they have in place for whatever crazy reason they still have them, it's probably killed opening day this year.
Well, I've already got tickets. I coached the gentleman from Plains Moving and Storage, and apparently Plains has to have season tickets. So he's actually got me tickets for May 2nd. The Cubs play the Reds on May the 2nd. I got tickets for the game already.
Nice. Cool.
So either you're going with me or Mom's going with me.
I'm sure it'll be me. I doubt Mom's coming up for that.
Probably true.
Did you, as a kid, go to any opening days in Chicago?
Oh no, we were poor. We would go to Milwaukee Brave games, and because you could get in for almost nothing, and you didn't have to pay for parking because they parked out in their own cornfield, and so we'd go up and watch them, and there's never anybody at the game, so it was easy to get in.
Gotcha. Talking about the Reds and talking about baseball, has that gone by the wayside for business networking? I remember when I worked at WGRR, I used to take clients to games all the time. It was an awesome experience just to sit there and have a different conversation with a client versus selling. It was always relationship building. And has that gone by the wayside because all these corporations all kind of just look at selling as dial for dollars?
I don't think so, because I wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have given me tickets already. I think that's still a big thing. The thing I always tell my clients, though, is this: you don't want to give somebody tickets to the game. You want to take them to the game, and you don't create any relationship if I just give you the tickets.
Yeah.
It's when you go to the game with a person, you start to create that relationship. That's when it actually you create that know, like, and trust, and you create a bond. Where if you simply just give somebody tickets to the game and you don't go with them, you don't really create any bond.
Yeah, I think that the two things that are underused, at least from what I've seen in the corporate world nowadays, are sporting events like that, the Reds games more than anything, but also golfing. I'm going to give you my favorite Reds experience that you'll get a kick out of. If I ever tell you about the guy stealing buffalo wings?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So we're at the this is why I did some work with LW, and we're in our suite, which is home plate, right behind home plate, luxury box. And the part of when you walked out of the suite, there was like a window, and then you could see the people next to you because their seats were there. And I'm sitting there, and it's all catered. We had Montgomery Inn barbecue, and we had pizza, and you had whatever you wanted. And I looked, the guy was in our booth. He had a bright pink shirt on. It just stuck out. I didn't know who he was because I had a couple clients there, and then a couple clients were there, and their sales rep, and you just mentioned they should have been, but their sales rep wasn't there. And so, I was in charge of the suite this night, and I look over and I see him in GE's booth next to us. GE had his booth there, and I just assumed he knew somebody. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's the guy in the pink shirt. Well, then a couple minutes later, the lady comes up that's in charge of the booths, and she's like, hey, I need a favor. Yeah, she is. The guy in the pink shirt went next door and stole some buffalo wings from the GE booth. And I'm like, you're kidding me. I saw him over there. I thought he had a friend over there. And so I'm sitting there like, man, how do I approach a grown man and tell him he's got to, like, it was a business setting. You got to stay in our luxury box. And on top of that, all you got to do is ask the server for buffalo wings. And so I walked up and said, hey, by the way, the server said you went next door to GE's booth, and whatever you need, Stacy can get for you. There's no reason to go next door, and it's against the rules. That is their booth. They're not allowed in our booth. Oh, okay, my bad. About 5 minutes later, look over, dude's there again. And I'm like, and he's got his wife and kids with him, and I'm like, what the hell? So he comes back, and Stacy comes in again. She's like, sir, I'm not telling you can't do that. Okay. And no lie, within 10 more minutes, he's back over there again. They bring the cops up, and they take him out of the luxury box in handcuffs. His wife and kids are watching me. And I'm just looking around like, what's going on? What world am I in?
Was he even supposed to be there?
Huh?
Was he even supposed to be there?
Yeah, he was allowed in our box. Okay. He was somebody's client. He was an owner of a company, and I guess he had too many beers to drink, and he wasn't paying attention and wasn't listening. But I'm literally feel so bad because I didn't want anything to happen. I'm like, dude, you just got to ask her for free buffalo wings. And then she's like, next time you do it, the cops are coming up because GE is not happy. And here he is. Imagine being the dad in a luxury box with your kids and your wife, and you're taken out for stealing free buffalo wings. That was my Reds experience. I'll never forget that. That was a trip.
Well, the one I remember, I used to go all the time when we had our store. We used to sit in Lindner's booth all the time because he owned Provident Bank.
Provident Bank.
We were always in his booth all the time.
Yeah, with Joe Hagledge.
Yep. And he always I always loved going to his booth because he always had Montgomery Inn. Yep.
Is that your story?
No, no story at all.
Oh, I thought you had a good story. Like that was you set it up. You set it up really good, and then you just.
Well, I do have a story though. One time we were there. One guy who was an entrepreneur who happened to be a major sponsor of the Reds, and he had his company on the wall, okay, and he was the most arrogant guy in the whole world. And him and his wife, and they wouldn't talk to anybody. And I think finally one of the guys finally said, "Hey, you need, you lighten up a little bit. I mean, even though you're a major sponsor, doesn't mean you got to be a jerk."
Again, that I got to tell you, that story is pretty underwhelming.
I know.
I'm
disappointed. It wasn't really a story. I was just telling you.
I'm disappointed that you didn't bring any massive Reds or Cubs or opening day story.
Well, the best story for the Reds was when we used to take our whole company and sit in the right field bleachers, okay, and party down. And
that was the last time we did that. We took about, I think it was 38 employees. We had like 3 motorhomes. We filled everybody in. And I went through $700 in cash on beer for the beer and Mountain Dews and everything else. And probably, I think it was the second or third inning. You looked at me and said, "Hey, Dad, I need some cash." I know. You're like, "What do you mean you need cash?" I'm like, "You need $700." I'm like, "Yeah, apparently our employees drink a lot more than we realize."
I remember that because I'm sitting there and all of a sudden you say, "Dad, I'm out of cash." I'm going, "You just took a bunch of money. How could you be out of cash?" They're drinking me out of water, drinking his
Sprite. You had Lee Winkler, and you had
well, we had a couple of guys were absolutely snockered.
Oh yeah, we had to carry people out, we had to drive a couple of them home and carry them in their houses. They were a little out of control. Gary Weave, the big Weave.
Oh, he was always snockered.
Yep. Well, cool. That's all I got today, Dad. I'm gonna finish up some work. I'm gonna go hit the gym, and like Marvin said there, you left us on a cliffhanger. Like you acted like you had some amazing story, and then
the problem I had, I couldn't top the wing story.
The wing story's up. I've got another story.
Can't top.
I've got another story that's not as much PG-13, but just put it this way: a lady who was a pretty wild lady in Cincinnati who owned a big car dealership at one point for a short time. I think she lost it because of the things she did, but she got caught in the bathroom with her significant other.
Oh my God.
In the luxury box. And I was there too. And it was like the Matt weekend, like this, comes out, and it was a whole other story. Have her clothes take
the best story I've got for the Reds was back when the Reds were in Riverfront Stadium, and Hank Aaron was sitting on 713 or 14, whatever the number was, and he needed one home run to tie Babe Ruth, and I'm sitting on the first base side, and I'm not remember who I was sitting with, but all of a sudden, okay, Hank gets up to the plate, and there's a guy up in the left field bleachers streaking. Everybody in the whole place is watching this guy streak, and all of a sudden you hear the crack of the bat, and there's a home run by Hank Aaron, and nobody saw it.
And you're watching some naked dude, and Hank Aaron hits the home run to tie Babe Ruth.
Everybody's watching this naked dude all the way up on the top shelf of the bleachers, okay, and the left field line, and Hank had just hit one out, and nobody saw it.
Where was that story 10 minutes ago? Like you're like, oh, I had Montgomery in the box. That's a story right there. Like
that's probably the craziest experience. Like I'm sitting there going, and the guy sitting next to me says, "My God, we just saw Hank hit one out, and he didn't hit it, and no one saw it."
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, cool.
And then when he went back to Atlanta the following day, he hit number 715 to break the record.
Well, now we know that you missed a monumental piece of history in baseball to see some.
I saw him circle the bases. I didn't see the ball, but I saw the bases. I saw him clocking around the bases.
You saw a different type of ball.
That was when the days that everybody was streaking. All kinds of. That's the same time when Morgana was coming out in the field and kissing all the players. Remember that one stripper from the strip clubs? She would come out on the field and grab the third baseman and big kiss, and they'd arrest her, and then she'd be dancing in Newport the next night.
I would have probably been a little kid at that point. So if I remember that, you got to remember
that.
Okay.
But look it up. The stripper used to come out in the field, Okay, and kiss all the guys. There's a big, Newport stripper. I think her name was
Okay.
Morgana. What, Morgana, honey? Yeah, it was Morgana.
Okay, I'll look it up. So, on that note, we're signing off. Opening day 2021. I'm out, Dad. Tell Mom I said hi. Tell her I love her.
Okay, Mom, Matt says he loves you. Go Cubbies.
Go Cubbies. See
Mom
ya.
says loves you too. Bye.
Bye.